Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sirius Frequencies. Yeah, Polly's back. Where have I been? Oh, well, that's a long story. Maybe we'll get into that later, but I'm back. And what'd I miss? How's everybody doing? Where's Luna? Luna, are you here?
I'm
Are you
here.
here,
Yeah,
Luna?
yeah. I had to take my glasses off. Couldn't see anything.
That's
I
what.
got lenses
Yeah, I
on
can't see
today.
anything either. Yeah.
G'day, everyone. Hope you had a good week. G'day, Joe. Thanks for
It's been a
joining us.
minute.
Yeah, it's been a while. Well, this week we're supposed to be having a round table, but I wanted it to be square.
Yeah, in that case, I don't want the corner seat.
But that's the whole point.
The corner seat's too pointy.
No, I left it at. I did that because life is like that. It has its sharp edges. So
It sure does. And I don't know about your last week that just happened, but well, the world's last week has a lot of sharp edges on it that still haven't been dulled down yet. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's pretty wild out there right now.
it is. We're in the midst of change and the total midst of it. That was my topic for the square table today. Was change and people have changed. But it's madness out there. We can feel it peak. Last week you weren't here, Polly. Was it last week? I
It was
found
actually the last 2 weeks I haven't been here. I'm so sorry.
Hey, Polly, I haven't seen you for that long. I forgot the last time I saw you.
I know. Yeah.
Last week, I think it was, I found out that fear, the frequency of fear is actually lower than anger. And everything that's going on in the world is supposed to induce your fear. So we can bring the vibration, the frequency down low. We don't want that though. Yeah, it's happening. Is it at your front door yet? No. So don't be afraid yet. And even when it does happen, don't be afraid, because you can't concentrate when you're afraid.
Well, that's what fear loves to eat too, is when you're afraid. So
Exactly. What's that thing that's saying, Polly? Nothing to fear but fear itself.
yeah. Yeah, everything in moderation, including fear.
There's another thing for fear, where FEAR, but I can't remember. But, so, yeah, I don't know if we're going to have any seats filled at our little square table today, but we'll continue talking about this topic.
Hey, do you know what we should probably say too is the whole concept of the show with the square table. We used to have round tables. Remember those?
Yep.
Yeah, and the round tables. I used to always make a joke that I wanted to sit in the corner seat at the round tables,
You did.
and so that's where they're sort of inside jokes. But if you've been watching Luna and I anywhere, either on Discord or wherever, you'll know these things. But there's an importance to having a table. That's the thing I wanted to talk about, because what makes a discussion more important if you have a table there, as opposed to, say, like, just like a campfire, or like I don't know,
Yeah, it
whatever
makes it
else you have conversations around.
formal. It makes it more formal. I'm trying to find a picture of a table. I did have some.
We should throw a table in the campfire.
Hey, what a party. Doesn't that usually happens at the end? No, but you're right. Having a table makes it. There is a difference, Polly, because in most native cultures, we sit on the ground in a circle when we're talking. And that's to make, one, we're grounded, so our emotions don't get us all crazy, and we're in a circle facing each other, whether there's a fire in the middle or not. As opposed to sitting on a table, and in my head it's a wooden table, right, with wooden chairs. I don't know why, but that's what it says. above, elevated off the ground, sitting on wood at a square table. It makes it really more formal. You could say elevated. Huh.
Yeah. No, that is a pun, but it still applies.
Yeah, there is a difference though.
It's an elevated conversation as opposed to your table just being the earth.
Yes.
And I would say that the table, like if you had the earth is a table, let's say you're all cross-legged on the floor, there's no table, and the table is the floor basically, or the ground.
Yeah.
The earth is the first table.
Yes. It is the first table.
And there's a reason why tables are always made of wood. And if they're not made of wood, what else are they made of? Stone, usually.
Yeah.
So they're both very grounded, right?
Yeah. Can you hear
Is
that
that
bird?
one of your? Yeah, is that one of your children?
You're going to find up in the room. No. That bird, I don't know its real name. It comes every year at this time, and I call it the Urit bird because there's a male and a female, and the male goes Urit, 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 like that. I don't know its technical name, so I just call it the Urit bird. But that's the other part.
Well, welcome, bird.
Yeah.
Welcome to the square table.
Lots of birds have moved in. Hang on, I've just got to we got somebody for our table. Hang on. G'day, brother Donny. Here you go. You can be the first person to sit at the table. I need a picture of the table. I've been slack this week. My week has been, I couldn't even give you a word for it this week.
It's a hectic pace.
I haven't even got an emotion for this week. I can't tell you what this week was. How about we call it the null and void portal week? It's just been a weird week. But tables, okay. Yeah, because in the old days, you would actually get a big, long, flat stone, because we'd have a big, long, flat stone and prepare our stuff on it, which was on the ground. That was our second table.
Right.
Then obviously someone made a wooden one. They probably made a seat. Actually, the history of tables, there's really, no one ever thinks of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, like, the first dude that's sitting on the floor and like he's like picking his drink up off the ground and he's like, damn, I wish I didn't have to pick this up off the ground. Maybe we should build a table.
Or perhaps the ground was cold or wet and we need to get up off the ground.
That's probably a more likely, way more likely, but less funny, but way more likely. True. Yeah, the mud invented the table probably. Yeah.
I'm going to look into that though. I'm going to see what the system says about tables. Oh man, I should have done some slides of some really beautiful tables, eh? Maybe I'll do that next week. Because we got beautiful things and we also got a visitor. We should let them seat themselves at the table. Yama, brother Donny. Welcome to our table. Welcome to our table. We have feast on some conversation today.
Yama, brother Donny.
Yama, Polly.
Yeah, it's been a while, mate.
Yeah, been a bloody long time, eh?
Yeah, good to hear you.
Yeah, in the Dolmara table.
I don't know. Oh, them stone things.
Yeah, a dolma.
A dolma. Hang on, I'm just going to look that up so everyone knows what we're talking about. Dolma. All right. Dolma. That comes up with food.
Well, that's another thing too. Like tables, we always eat our food off of a table now.
Yeah, we do. Well, most people do.
And that's another thing too. Keep your food off the ground, or else someone else is going to eat it.
Unfortunately, Donnie, I have not the spelling right. And I looked up Dolma and it said food. Then I looked up Dolma and it says a place in Queensland. I don't know. But you're talking, I think I know what you're talking about, them stone things. They're big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they call them dolma, aren't they?
I don't know what they call them, Brett. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Your tables. We had grinding stones and that. We didn't actually have table. We used whatever.
Could I just ask a question here?
Yeah, of course you can. You're at the table. You're sharing the conversation.
What's with the glasses, mate? You look like you're flying an old biplane.
That's because the world we're going to take flight, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to see
Looks
even.
good,
So
eh?
I just thought it would be fun. I feel
Yeah.
like I look like a pilot.
You look like you're flying one of them old biplanes.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going for. Thank you. Yeah, I will admit, like it's getting a bit hard to see. I'm probably gonna put them back on later, but yeah, it's hard to read the comments and stuff with it on, so I'll chill for a second. Sorry, I didn't mean to frighten you, Donnie.
No, you didn't frighten me. I just thought it was quite funny, eh?
Okay, good. Yeah, right.
You're running around on an Indian chief for flying a bloody
Yeah.
old biplane.
Hey, tune in next week. You never know what I'm gonna be wearing.
Uh,
the best answer ever. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Brilliant.
I'm still looking for a picture of a table. All right. I reckon we'll have a look at some beautiful things and then we'll kick off into a conversation. All right, where's my slides? I had it. Oh, you know what happened just before the show started? I had everything all set up real nice, and bang, the internet went down, and it said you've lost this page, and I couldn't get it back. And I'm thinking I'm gonna have to tell Polly there's no show this week, and then it come up like that. So I don't know what's going on, and if we drop out, that's probably what's happening. And now I've got to find everything that I had set up because it's all gone. Here we are. All right, we'll look at some beautiful things and then we'll get into a conversation, a bit of a yarn, and we'll throw some topics up. Okay. You can't see. All you see is things. Yeah, just things. There's just things in this world. All right. Pretty flowers. And the whole point of all this, laughing and looking at beautiful things, is the world's really serious at the moment. We need to maintain our balance of mind and spirit in a happy medium. That's not real, obviously. Oh, look at that. Aussie flowers, they're always beautiful. They're all robust. They're not soft and delicate. Oh, some of them are, but most of them are really robust. Hey, that's what we should be attacking life like. Hey, life, come and get me. Also, what we're going to do today, and we might use this slide. Anyone in the chat room that can put a really good caption to the praying mantis, let me know, and I might be able to. I'll put the caption underneath, and we can all have a laugh. So I'll leave that up for a little while later. We'll go through this, but I'll bring it back up randomly. And if anyone has a good caption for that, type it.
He looks like he's driving down a taxi.
Yeah. Yay.
Right. Hey, dude, the party's over here.
My prayers were answered.
I love
just to get you warmed up.
Yeah, just to get you warmed up.
Wallet in my back pocket.
He just got off his motorbike. It's got 8 fingers. All right. That's a pretty. We've got a chair. We haven't got a table, but we got a chair. Oh, I always
That
loved
cat
that
was
thing.
clearly declawed.
You reckon? Let's have a look. Oh, right, for it being on a lounge.
Yeah, there's no way you'd let a cat on your chair that didn't have. Yeah.
True. Oh, look, that reminds me of the sun shining on our beautiful planet here. Planet, not planet, planet. Oh, I love them. Remember them, Colin? I love them.
Did somebody say plane?
Plane, yeah. Yes. Buckle your seatbelt. Please relax. We will be flying off in a minute.
And don't put your fingers in the propellers either.
Yeah. And keep your hands inside the windows. Our plane hasn't got windows, obviously.
Well, maybe it does. Maybe the sky is a big window.
Oh, I wish I had a door and that like that. Oh, imagine sleeping in that. Oh, that'd be a heavenly sleep. Imagine moving it. Beautiful art. Some people are just really amazing with their artwork. I swear by them egg timer things. Oh, well, they're not egg timers. What are they called?
I call them egg timers too.
Because I use them for my eggs. All the clocks I've got in the house, digital, old-fashioned. That's the one I rely on.
Yeah, that's before analog.
Hourglass.
Hourglass. Thank you, Donnie. Yes, hourglass or minute glass, whatever. You can get them different sizes and they have different times.
Either that or an egg timer.
I wonder if that affects our world. Different sizes, different times. I'm wondering
totally
whether,
does.
things that are smaller have different times. And actually, we've talked about that, Polly.
Yeah, I think we have. Things that are smaller, like an ant, will live whatever 2-3 days, but that's the same equivalent as 80 years to something that's as big as us.
So they've got their hourglass is smaller, so to speak. Yeah.
And imagine what elephants feel like.
Yeah, that's a big hourglass. Yeah. Wouldn't be able to fit that in the room. Bottles. These were in the days where you didn't actually throw things away. You fixed them and kept them until they were actually unbreakable, like unfixable, and then you recycled them. Not anymore. Oh, remember that, Donnie? I love that car, even though it's a hearse.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a hearse, but it's still beautiful. That'd be an awesome way to go out, eh? And everyone can party in the back on the way home. Oh, yeah, I remember that one too. That's Flash. Looks heavy.
Don't think you can go and get firewood in that one now, Luna.
Oh, no. You wouldn't even want to pick your friends up in case they scratched it or something.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't a very well used chess set, because if it was, that painting would be worn out from the fingers.
That's something I've always wanted to make, is my own chess set. But I don't want to make it the same shapes as everything. Like, I don't want pawns to be the shape of like a classical pawn. I want to pick, like, the idea I have in my head is like different plants.
Oh, right.
So like maybe the pawns would be like dandelions, and maybe like the rooks would be like some kind of vine or something, or who knows.
Yeah, that's interesting. Hi. I haven't seen one of those. And I think we're nearly to the end. Oh, beautiful. See, back in the old days, every little single thing had someone's artwork in it, someone's passion for creativity. Not anymore. What I don't understand is in the old days, this was the standard. Now you pay a fortune to get something small like that. What's wrong with us people? And that's
I feel like there's less emphasis on accuracy now. Like a lot of things are just good enough.
Oh, it's slap happy. Yeah, we call
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the old way of making things, it was all about the details. Like
Mm.
you could replicate a lot of stuff today, but if you look at the details, the amount of time that's put in those details, it's a strange concept actually. Because we're showing the egg timer things too, and I'm thinking, what's the oldest way of measuring time? That's probably one of them, the egg timer. Like,
Yeah.
but what about before we invented glass? It would be like something, kind of probably similar. Like, how much of this passes through this piece of reality at once? And you can add that all up at a certain point, and then you get time. What if you look at the amount of time that some of these people and some of these details would have taken in these beautiful things? It it puts that thing on a different level, because
True.
it's not just like a cookie cutter thing. Like, somebody probably spent years just on the details after the thing was made. Then to make it look really cool and to put their own signature on it, they decide to spend years adding details.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
know
nobody
what you
does that anymore because
know.
nobody looks at details anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah. And it does take time. I know when I make stuff, I'm a detail person. I do everything underneath every little space that you'll see something, and it does take time. But I don't see it as time. When you're in that creative whirlwind, you just stay in there until it's finished, and you don't actually have a concept of time.
Yeah, time goes away. Yeah, I can relate to that. There's been plenty of times where you're in the zone and time just doesn't apply, and you look at the clock and 5 hours went by and it feels like 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. So there you go. Beautiful things. A lot of beautiful things in the world. I'll bring that back up later with our little picture of our guy that
Oh,
was
that's one of
born.
my favorite segments. Beautiful things. I love it. It's one of
Oh,
my favorites.
yeah, I love beautiful things. We're going.
Eventually, I'll start sending you photographs that I've taken to see if we can get them in there too.
Yeah, I can put them in beautiful things. Yeah, good idea. So, and if you want me to put something in beautiful things, let me know and I'll put it up there. All right. Okay, back to our table, which I couldn't find a table, so it looks like we're sitting on the ground.
Is it a square ground?
Square ground.
Square ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I'm just going to change that picture to this one. Oh, where are we? All right. So, we should ask our guest, what did you want to talk about today, Donnie?
I don't know. I haven't taken much thought to it.
This is why we do it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what we
Awesome.
do. All
That
right.
was
Well,
my opinion in life.
I took a thought like for 3 seconds and I come up with something. Mine was what we're talking about before. Times are changing and people are changing. Yeah. You reckon people are changing? Do you reckon
No,
we're changing with the times, or do you think we're stuck in our little, stuck in the mud, so to speak?
I think people have been given the illusion that they're capable of changing. But what I mean by that is that we're all human and we shouldn't want to change that. So there's certain things and certain ways that we act and certain things that we do that's a part of being human. And if we stop doing those things, we're going to stop being human.
Agree.
And some of those things aren't good. Like, some of those things are, like, humans are flawed and we're supposed to be. But it doesn't mean that we should stop being flawed, because I think that many of the flaws that we have are the source of many of the things that we've learned, right?
Yep. Where was I?
After it was a human that built the first table, after all.
True. Oh no, we got a place called Atherton Tablelands here.
Okay.
And
on the northern tablelands.
pardon, bro.
I live on the northern tablelands.
So there you go. Donnie lives on a table.
Off the
and that's
table.
humans, yes.
Oh, we can talk about that too. Jules in the comments. Hey, Jules, by the way.
Yeah, I'll
And
check you
King
out.
Sweet. And
Thanks.
Connie G's in there as well. And I'll get to anybody else that I missed eventually. Yeah, there's a comet or something coming. And okay, I don't know if you remember the conversation we had, Luna. I think it was off air about a very vivid dream that I had about a huge rock that it wasn't smashing into the earth, but it was landing on the ground. You remember that conversation?
I do
So
remember that conversation.
earlier on my show over at Independent Broadcast Network and Free World, I had this thought while I was doing the show that what if we could, like, because there's a lot of people who are keen on the idea of prospecting these comets or asteroids for resources and like mining them, right? Well, it's a pain in the butt to get up there, and it's also a pain in the butt to get back. So what if we could just have a controlled landing of an asteroid, and then we could just walk up to it and take all the whatever we want from it then?
What happens if that asteroid isn't an
Beyond
asteroid and it's a ship
Yeah, it could be.
of some sort? Because we have heard, well, I have, and of them looking like rocks. You know, they're like camouflaged. They just look like a species.
Yeah, like that Oumuamua one. Remember that one?
Yeah. And for it to land, yeah, controlled landing.
Yeah. That like either a controlled landing or at least a slowed down demolition. Maybe even use the atmosphere to help break it up into smaller pieces and then bring those pieces down slower.
Interesting. What are you doing there? Someone's doing more. Sounds like they're washing up. So there's a comet. Actually, there's been an activity. Carl looked out the back door the other day and there was a shooting star just like that, which is unusual because we have got the city lights. You wouldn't really see them, but it must have. It was that bright that you saw it. Lots of activity happening. That's part of the change. Everything's changing though. There isn't one platform that you can say, oh, that's exactly the same. I haven't found anything that's exactly the same in the last few years. Everything's changed. Is that you, Donnie? Sounds like we're visitor.
Sounds like a comet.
A comet. Yeah, shooting by. I wonder what frequency they fly at.
Well, they're all different. Like, well, here's what I was thinking too. Like, there's if you knew that a comet was coming in or an asteroid, and you knew what it was made of, like its composition, and you wanted to harvest that, you could maybe send something up there to change its course so that it would, when it went around the sun, it would be coming back towards you slower, if this makes any sense. And then maybe we wouldn't be able to catch it at that point, but we could send it out towards, like, say, Jupiter, and then Jupiter would send it back to us, and then by that time it would be slow enough where we could put up, like, I don't know, some kind of a giant space net and catch. Yeah. So and then this led me to think that, like, it would be like asteroids are just the butterflies of the universe, and we just need a bigger net.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we're just the butterflies of the universe. True. That's Donnie's got background noise. Donnie, I'm muting you. So if you want to talk, I'll unmute in a second. Asteroids. So there's asteroids. Asteroids are really big. Comets are little. We got
Comets have
shooting
ice
stars,
too.
falling stars. Man, there's a lot of stuff that comes from the sky. It's lucky we don't get hit, hey?
We do get hit. We get hit all the time.
It melts before it gets here and breaks up before it gets here. Yeah.
We just don't live long enough before it happens again.
The energy would still reside. Even if it broke up or disappeared, evaporated, whatever it was that was coming in, the energy would still come in once the physical part of it has disappeared.
Yes.
So there's a lot of energies.
I agree. 100%. And there was also like in the 1900s, 19 something. I can't remember the exact date, but you can look up Tunguska in Siberian Russia. There was something massive exploded up there and leveled trees in a circular pattern.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, and they're all flattened out like that. Yep.
Yeah. Just laid out like in a
that
circle.
Could have been anything. Yeah, that could have
for
been
like
anything.
hundreds of acres.
Yeah. In a
Maybe even
circular pattern.
thousands. I don't even know.
Yeah, it could have been anything. Could have been a craft. Could have been a rock. Could have been an energy impact. Could have been anything. But yeah, that was bad. Whatever it was, and big. And we underestimate that too, the size of things. Like here we are on the land looking up, but from the other way around, things are massive. Things can be massive up there, and you wouldn't even know.
Yeah. Well, for the solar flare, did you hear about solar flares going to hit us today or tomorrow?
No.
So apparently there's some solar flares that are going to hit us. And some of these, like when you look at the footage of the sun, sometimes they put a little picture of the Earth next to the sun to give it scale. And these flares dwarf our planet. It's just a little like filament that's flying off the sun, but next to the Earth, it's huge. Like the Earth is just a tiny little piece of water with rock on it or something. And one of these flares can literally, it's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times the size of the Earth when it leaves the sun. And it's all just plasma. And it's traveling at like, I don't know how fast.
Really fast.
Faster than you can imagine. Yeah. Not as fast as light, because it still takes a few days to get here, but it's traveling really fast. And it does affect not only our planet, but it affects people.
Oh yeah, it would definitely affecting people. That's what I was saying. People are changing. Everything's changing. People are changing, like whether it's that's affecting. I don't know. I don't like to say people are changing because there's a thing in the sky. It will affect you, but it won't change you. That's your decision, I feel. It will affect you, though. You just got to be aware that you're being affected, and you should be right.
Yeah, there's things you can do to mitigate and counteract, I would assume. I don't know what they are, but I definitely know that there's studies being done that the sun's activity can cause like physiological changes in people.
I know it makes me tired. I just want to sleep when it's doing whatever it's doing. Sometimes I do. It just knocks me out. It's like I'll go into slow motion and I just out for a little bit, and then I'm right. So I know it affects me that way.
Yeah, well, what all I would say is if you have a flight booked for this evening, I would get it rebooked. You don't want to, because people that are in planes are actually more susceptible to the effects of the sun because of their altitude. They're like 30,000 feet, whatever. So, yeah, book a different flight, folks.
Especially if Polly's a pilot this evening.
Yeah.
in his old biplane.
Yeah. He's even go biplane if you want
Yeah,
to
it's
thrill.
only a biplane. Yeah. Well, I gotta be gender neutral, right? So that's why it's a biplane.
Actually, back in the day,
Yeah, see what you get there.
And I'm inclusive too. If you're too fat, you have to sit in the middle of the plane because otherwise it won't work. You can have as many seats as you want.
Is calling it a biplane politically correct for this day and age? No, dear.
Change your name from Polly to Snoopy.
Maybe Donnie, you should get it on the man plane.
Man,
Yeah, the man plane.
the only plane might be doing is walking across a plane.
Yeah. I'm only having a laugh.
Okay, we're raising the frequency here. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
we're
a little
supposed to
bit.
do.
Yeah,
I
it's not
actually
supposed to be
before the
that
show-
serious.
I was hoping we'd have a laugh because I'm thinking, hang on, I've been a bit serious this week.
I know. It's getting too
I don't like being
serious.
too serious. Yeah, it has to break eventually. I can be serious, and then it's got to break, and it comes out in the most ridiculous humour. But yeah, it has to. You can't be too serious all the time because you'll snap in half.
That's true.
Even people, that's what I wanted to say about people. I know somebody, like, I know a lot of people everywhere and I check it out, right? I've been watching them for a few years since the steel stabbings happened, the Jippy Chat things. Anyway, I watched, there's a particular person that was always a bit short and not nasty, but just short, and you wouldn't want to talk to them all the time because they were always short in temper or short in mannerisms. But now they're really friendly. Like, they're like a totally different person. And it's actually, I'll go past it, hi, because their whole energy is kind of changed. And they're not how they, so that was a positive change that I saw in some people. They're actually happy. It's like they forgot about all their worries. Whatever happened to them wiped all their worries away. And now they're just in the moment and they're happy. And then I've seen people change completely. Their mind only goes so far now, only works so far, and they can't get outside the box. Then I've seen people change their whole life, as in they never exercised or anything before. And then all of a sudden, bang, they change their whole life for the healthy part, like giving up all their bad habits. And yeah, so I've seen positive and negative changes in all of this thing, what's going on inside people. It's very, you can't even gauge it because it's just chaos. But anyway, that's my bit.
It seems like the people that are making these changes that you're talking about, the thing that the change has in common with all of the people is that it's a very drastic change. Like it's almost like a polar change. They've gone from one side to the complete other side.
Yep.
Right. And if you look at even politics, like what used to be right wing is now left wing, and what used to be left wing is now right wing.
Yeah.
And if you look at and I've had the same experiences as you with people that I've known for a very long time. I've watched them change from one thing into a completely almost opposite thing. But as far as like either personality or core values or beliefs or like you see some people clean their lives up, and you see some people just go down the spiral.
Yeah.
And the people that build themselves up are usually at rock bottom, and the people that bring themselves down are usually doing very well. And it doesn't seem to make any sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. That's why I brought it up.
So it does remind me of one of the laws of alchemy, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know that law where, like, if one thing happens one way, it happens the equal and opposite in the
Yeah,
other way. It's like
yeah,
everything
yeah,
has a
yeah,
swinging
yeah,
frequency
energy, yeah, equal energy
almost.
exchange.
Right.
Yeah.
So how bad does it have to get before it starts getting good? It depends on how many times we've swung to the bad, right?
Yeah.
Because it's going to
And
just keep building up momentum. And
it
so
will.
every time it gets really bad, like say, like maybe like how it is right now for the world, we could say, arguably, um, it's not as bad as it was, or it's still not worse as it was before it really got bad the last time this happened. So it's going to keep getting worse until it can, because every time it swings in one direction, it swings back in the opposite direction. But
True.
every single time it does that, it gains momentum. So the next time it swings in the opposite direction, it goes a little bit farther. And then it goes a little bit farther exactly in the same opposite direction. And it keeps going a little bit farther. It's not always the same direction, is basically what I'm saying. Every single time the pendulum swings, it's pushing farther. The limits get wider.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying.
And that maybe has something to do with why you're seeing a lot of people change so drastically.
I noticed that in the nature. I've been watching it for a long time, and I've been telling people the changes come, and no one noticed it because it wasn't that like that. What you're saying, the swing wasn't wide enough for people to notice, but now it is, and they think it's drastic, but it actually isn't. It's been happening for a while. But within people, I think because of everything we've been through, everyone's been traumatized, suffered loss, all kinds of things. I think that's got to do with it as well. Whereas the nature's just been a progressive build-up of whatever it's going to do. We've been up, down, up, down, up, down, bang, and now we're all where we are, and our energy levels are changing. Yes, very interesting. Our table's empty. Lucky I didn't bring a feed. All the food would have went off.
Right? Or the ants would have got it because we don't have a table.
So what have you noticed changing around where you live, Donnie? Is anything changing? What's the nature doing out there? What are the people doing?
Actually, there is a little bit of subtle changes, but not much. But you can see subtle changes. People are more friendly than they used to be before. Bush seems to be more calmer. Don't ask me why, but that's what I've been picking up. Yeah, that's the only thing I could be picking up at the moment around this area.
Do you have chemtrails being sprayed out there anymore? We don't here. They've stopped. It's been over a month now. Everything's clear and happy because of it.
Yeah, them streams behind the jets. Is that what you're talking about? That chemtrail? You there, Luna?
Yep, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You don't get them much. You don't get them much up around here. You see the jets when you want to see the trials behind it.
Yeah, they've stopped spraying. So that's a really good indication that things are changing. Either that or they finished their program and they no longer need to do it anymore. But that has stopped here, and the animals and that are happier. The water's cleaner. When you leave a bowl of water out, you can see what lays on top. Yeah, I've noticed that change. Cool. What's the growth rate out there? Is it growing rapidly after the few years that we've had that were rough on the bush?
The growth rate is really good. And, not at the moment around here because we're still getting a little bit of frost, so the grass is not quick. If we go to some places, the grass is really thick. Yeah, because like I go up Niagara a fair bit, and it's bush up there seems to be a little bit different from what I'm down here. Maybe just at altitude. I don't know.
It might be.
Yeah, it might be that.
Yeah, that's a good sign though. Everything, the nature's doing all right, so that's something good to listen to. I feel that if it was going to get worse, we'd see those things declining. The grass wouldn't grow properly. I've seen that happen a few years ago, but it's all coming back now, which is good.
Yeah. Could I be asked a question?
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, of course you can. You're on the table, man. You're sharing the meal with us. Come on.
Frequency.
Hey?
Has wind got a frequency?
Has wind got a free... Oh, man. Well, I haven't done any searching around to find anything on it, but I'll tell you from my own experience, yes, it has. Because this is my belief. Each gust of wind is like its own little spirit entity. It has its own energy. Some are really high frequencies and some are low. Some winds come and you go, oh, I'm going inside. This isn't a good thing. And the animals will even come inside. Then other winds are okay. And it's like, oh, this is a nice wind. And you don't mind being out in it. You get what I'm saying? As for the frequency, yeah.
Some winds blow and some winds suck.
Yeah. That's funny.
A catalyst for frequency.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, winds can create frequency, for sure. That's what a woodwind does, right?
Yeah. Okay, so power spectrum of horizontal wind speed in the frequency range from 0.0007 to 900 cycles per hour. No, that's not it. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not what I'm looking for. One moment. Here we are. I found it. Have I?
Kings, those aren't dreadlocks. That's a plant.
Yeah. Typically characterized low. This is what it says. Wind noise is typically characterized by signal energy concentrated at low frequencies. It has a relatively flat spectrum below 300 hertz and a spectrum above 300 hertz that slopes at a rate of 26 dB per octave. So, in other words, it can be this and it can be that. It can be low, it can be high. Like I said, depends on the frequency of the spirit that's in that wind. So there, 300 is your answer there, bro?
No.
Yeah.
300.
Wind on low frequency noise. Wind can affect low frequency noise. That's what it's saying. So you can have a low frequency noise and a wind can come in with a different frequency and change it. That is good to know. You know how the wind comes and you go, oh, the wind blew all the shit away? Like you can feel it in the air, oh, the air's clean and the wind blew all that heavy energy away. That's what it says it does. And saying that the wind can come in and change 20 hertz frequency. It can change it to 200 hertz. So the wind is
If you think about it, every single noise that comes out of the human body is actually just a really small version of wind.
Oh, Polly.
Polly?
Kinda, right? If you think about it.
Does it depend on your frequency?
It does, yeah. It also depends on what you had to eat.
The frequency of the food that you put in your body.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh my God. Okay. So wind has its own spirit, has its own frequency. And it can change frequency.
Well, it would be a bad frequency there because if you blow through any wind instrument, it's going to make its own frequency, isn't it?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whether it's a
And all you
ditch
have to
or
do is
kazoo.
you can change that frequency by blowing harder or blowing softer or pushing a button on the instrument. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would say that you're onto something because I would say
So,
I would argue that you can't have a frequency without at least one that we can hear. You can't have it without wind.
yeah, because it depends on. So it's a catalyst for that frequency.
Or a medium, yeah. A catalyst or a substrate, yeah, for sure. Yeah, something like that. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
Well, we're good now.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I'm still thinking about it.
Still thinking. Hang on a minute. We're thinking.
Yeah.
I should have a thinking sign. Hold on 1 second. We're thinking.
Right? It's still loading.
Could be here a while. Depends how deep you think, right?
Oh, it does.
Yeah. If you listen to the wind when it goes through the trees, it's a different noise when it goes through the grass. Or it goes through a gully, it makes a different noise again.
Yeah.
It's just where the wind's blowing, how fast the wind's blowing to make different types of frequencies.
Yeah. Like everything has its individual note when the same wind blows on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've heard it howl. It's blown through wood and trees and stuff, and you can hear it howl or scream sometimes as it's blowing through these things. That's eerie, man. When it does that, it's like speaking to you. True. I was actually thinking, is that how they figured out how to make a flute? There was a piece of wood sitting up there on the edge of the water, like here. The wind come along, and the way the wood was shaped, it blew through, and it went ooh. And someone realised, hang on a minute, that wood's making a noise. Ooh, I wonder if I get it and blow in it like the wind did, it'll make a noise. And is that how they made a flute? Presuming that the first flute was made out of wood, obviously.
Well, that's similar to what the story I was told about the ditch.
I was going to mention that, but that's your place to mention. I'm glad you mentioned it.
The story went, this fellow heard this noise through the bush. When he found it, it was a hollow log, and he reshaped it into a ditch.
Got that noise. Yep.
So that ditch originated from. Or Udaki, as it's originally known, called.
Udaki, yeah. Because there's more than one. There's the didgeridoo and there's the Udaki. One speaks and one sings. Is that right?
Yep, I'm pretty sure.
One speaks and one sings. Yeah, that's the difference. As far as I know, I wouldn't know because I don't play the instrument and I'm not a man. I'm just guessing. Flute playing. Yeah, I used to have a Japanese flute called a shakuhachi. And it took me like 2 years to learn just to get a decent noise out of the thing because the reed and the actual thing are like one piece of wood. I don't know how they made that, but it was so fine you had to get perfect angle to get the sound out of it. But when you did, it sounded so beautiful. A wooden flute, there's nothing like it. It was like
Well, I remember when I was going to school that all the girls used to have accordions. Do you remember that, Luna?
Are they those things where you go and you
accordion?
No? Accordion. What's an accordion? Educate me, bro. What's an accordion, Polly?
We call them
look it up.
accordions too.
Oh, all right. Accordion. I think
According to the
there is one
accordion
there.
historian, they're called accordions.
Yeah, you push it in and out like that, and it's got little buttons on it.
There is another one, but I can't remember what that one's called.
It's got a funny name. Isn't there a smaller one where you go like that with your hand?
It's like
Yeah.
flute. All the girls at schools used to have
Oh,
them.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the plastic ones.
Yeah. That's
I'll show you. Yeah, God, that was a bit of thinking. Just hang on a minute. We need to think.
all I remember them called as accordions.
Yeah, right.
Sounds
here,
like
I'll
a race of beings.
Oh, you know, these are terrible. I've got to tell you. We had one of these. I'm just going to show you a picture. Wait a minute. Share screen.
Back when the accordions used to live here.
Can you see that? That white flute? That's what he's talking about, the accordion.
That's a recorder.
We had them when the kids were young, because here in Australia, when they're in kindergarten, first class, they learn to play one of them. And because my child had older siblings, we had a couple of them, right? Anyway, the little dude, he was playing with it, and he was on his little bike, and he fell, and it hit him in the mouth and ripped all the top of his soft palate out. It was a nightmare. I banned them things from my house. No child should have one of them. They are super dangerous. Sorry there, bro. But yeah. So everyone have one of them. Sorry, I had to put that story in. They're dangerous. Don't let your kids have one. Yeah, you learned. What did we learn? You learned a song on them, all basic songs. Every kid learned one at school. Australian school was weird.
I think I learned Mary Had a Little Lamb, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and the alphabet song, which are all the same song, really.
Are they?
Pretty much. Well, maybe not Mary Had a Little Lamb, but the alphabet and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is the exact same song.
Oh, right.
I know you're going to do it now. You might as well just get it out of the way.
I'm not too cold. I just held my mind and went, no, don't do it. And then it went 8. I went, no, don't do it. No, we might get in trouble for doing it.
Here, I'll make it easier for you. A, B, C, D, little star. H, I, J, K, what you are. It's the same song.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know what? Mary Had a Little Lamb's not in there, but that song is also the exact same song as something else too, I think.
Wow.
It's like a formula for songs to get you to remember something.
Yeah. Jingle. Like
Oh,
a jingle.
hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Whoa,
Wow. I didn't know that, and you sang it perfectly. Thank you.
And my cat hates it when I sing.
Better sing.
The only thing is a lot of my singing are the animals. That time I sung the snake out of the pond, I'm like, okay, I'm not going in to get you. I'll sing you out. I sat there singing. He loved it. He come right out up to me. Oh dear. What were we talking about? All right, music, wind. We're on an hour. I need to. Nature's calling. You fellas can keep yarning just for 2 minutes, so I can go. Nature is calling, and I can't hold it anymore.
Oh, put on the fire for a break. I gotta go too.
Yeah, all right then. Where's my fire?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah, I might go for a break. My cup of tea.
All right, everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Nature calls everyone all at the same time. That's weird.
That is, isn't it? I've got to find my fire, man. Hang on. Oh, I found the fire. I'll give it to you. 1 moment. By the time I figure all this out, they'll all be back.
You haven't gone yet. This.
I'm trying to light the fire, Brady. You know what it's like with a stick and a piece of string. It takes a while.
We'll rub 2 matches together.
I'm rubbing. Hang on. We got it. I got the fire. I did it, bro. I did it.
Must have chucked a bit of wood on it. Yeah, get a bit of warm out of it.
Yeah, you're right.
I think your fire's broken, Luna.
My fire's broken. I'm going to say that next time we're at a community and we're having a fire, I'm going to tell them everybody the fire's broken just to see what they say. All right, I've got to go now because if I don't know what's going on.
You go do your business.
All right, everyone. So I'm back. We're just waiting. Oh, we're all back now.
Yeah.
I found something the other day. This was supposed to be a round table, and we're supposed to have guests and have really juicy yarn, but it looks like it's free for all today at the square table. And I wanted to share something.
It's kind of a triangle.
I was going to call it the triangle table, and then I thought, people are sensitive. They might think we're all part of the Illuminati.
So those people can watch for 10 minutes and figure that out for themselves, that we're not.
Core triangles. Oh, we do all the signs, I'm joking. I was just thinking then. Hang on a minute. I've got to find it. File. What have I done? I lost my fire. One moment. I was looking around the other day on my Google Maps, and I found something really interesting, Donnie. Yeah. If I can find it. So what I found was which anomalies? Here we are. Oh, that phone never rings. That's a non-existing phone. Are they telling me not to show you? No, I'll show you. If I can find it, where are we? Anomaly. I probably won't be able to find it now. That always happens. I'm looking for something, and when I want it, can't find it. So I was looking around in the desert, and in the desert, we got big rock-shaped rocks, right? Whoa. And I found it. And I was looking around, I thought, that's weird. It looks like it's hollow. So I zoomed in, and they're hollow, man. Some of them rocks out there are hollow. Excuse the phone. Something's going on. We're not here. I think it's this one. When I find it, I'll give it to you. Please keep talking.
Yeah, City Morgue, always have them.
Hey. All right, I found it. So I was going to show you these next week. We're just having a little preview because Donnie's here. And now I've got to find out how to share this. You're going to have to stop sharing the file, but it'll be on in the background. Video file. Oh, no. It's boring for people. Sorry, this is me trying to drive technically, and I can't. All right, so while we're waiting for that, what's happening in your area, Polly? Polly's in Canada. There's a lot of things happening over there. Is everything nice and calm in your area, or is there things going on? Found it.
So
Dead
where
cold.
I am, at least, I think winter's going to be late. It's really unseasonably warm and unseasonably dry, which is actually good because many crops benefit from those conditions in the fall. Things like squash and eggplants and even tomatoes and all the cool weather crops. They're kind of better off if they don't get inundated with so much water. So that's weather-wise, that's how things are. As far as politically and socially, it's a giant mess. It's an absolute disaster, and I can't wait to get out of the city that I'm in right now because it's literally being flushed down until I didn't even know existed.
Wow.
Yeah. Not to put too fine a point on it.
Yeah, that's all quite
And in Canada, the toilet flushes this way.
That's right.
It flushes the.
Yeah. Is it flushed the same way as us, or is it different? Anti-clockwise or clockwise?
Yeah.
All right, people, I found what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So I was looking around. I'm looking at these stone things that are left over in the desert. I'm not going to tell you where they are. And hopefully next week we're going to do a whole big show on this stuff and some UFO stuff, if everything works out. So I'm looking around. I looked at this bit here and I'm thinking, that looks hollow. That looks hollow, and that looks like there's something sitting there and there's something sitting there. So I zoomed in and had a look, and you tell me what you think. So I'm zooming in. Is it looking hollow to you, fellas?
Yeah, it does look hollow.
Looks hollow, eh? So I'm going to zoom in a bit more. And can you see something sitting there with a little face? I know it's blurry because they blur out everything. But if you have a look here, you can see a face. There's an ear here and two eyes and a mouth, and that's the back. And in the background here, and here are more of whatever this is. So if I zoom out a little bit, you can see it a bit better. You can see that that is hollow and it is quite big in there. And there's two little dudes sitting here. But I'm going to get that clarified up and cleaned up better so you can have a better look. But that's hollow. That was the whole thing. What I was.
Do you think it's those? Do you think it? Do you think it's those aliens that are like hiding in there telling bad jokes to each other?
Laughing at us, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Very much so, could be. And you can't see what's there.
You gotta find that for later.
Oh yeah, my imagination says that looks like a dragon's foot, but that's just my imagination. But my common sense says that's hollow, and it's hollow, and you can tell when you go in, it's hollow, and it goes deep. You can see in here. And there's little fairy people living in here. So that's what I found. What do you think of that, Johnny?
Yeah, it's interesting.
But like I said, I'm going to get that cleared up so we can have a good look at what's really in there, or whether it's my imagination. They're just things I found. You don't really want to see them. I'll just go through them. Oh, that's something else I found. See, perfectly square here. You don't find perfectly square things like that in nature. Only on here and the square table. That's what I do in my spare time when I've got nothing to do. I go around and look at that stuff. So there you go.
Are any of these places that you look at, Luna? Can you actually get to any of these places, or is it too far away?
Only if you got a helicopter, bro. If you got a helicopter,
Yeah.
or you can get out. You can get out there, which will take a long time to get out there, and you need a lot of supplies. But helicopter would be the way to go. But I can't afford a helicopter. So. Oh, look, we got someone at our table. We got a guest. Sorry if you've been sitting there starving. We got a surprise guest for everybody. Someone we haven't seen for a long time, and let them in. Hey, Yama, g'day. How are you, brother?
Nice, eh?
So the minute I put food in my mouth, you call on me.
That's all right. We can speak full mouth language. we'll give him.
Pleasantries. Nice, eh?
Hello, Donnie.
How you been there, bro?
I'm doing well. Who's that other beautiful male voice I hear tonight?
That's Polly. Actually,
That's Luna.
Polly.
Luna got a little bass in her voice today. How's everybody doing today on this fine tomorrow, yesterday, today?
Yeah, I haven't heard from you from a long time. I thought you fell off the perch there, nice, eh?
Well, I was about to ask you the same thing.
Well, I've been a little busy, still trying to save the universe one giggle at a time.
We've had a few laughs here this morning, this evening, this afternoon, wherever you are.
I know I got the time wrong, so I was all ready, and then I noticed I was 2 hours ahead of time, and then I had a visitor that made me something to eat, and when I got distracted, I'm like, oh yeah, and so got a nice turkey sandwich in front of me, and then I hear these beautiful voices, and I couldn't. Is somebody grilling in the background there?
We got a fire going. What was I say? Yeah, is that better for you? We got the fire going.
I could just hear the crackling, and I thought maybe Donnie was sharpening up his butter knife, ready to cook something on the barbie.
Now, welcome to our square table. We've discussed how the changing of times and how people have changed. I just showed everybody something like, in my spare time, bro, how I go inch per inch across Australia looking for anomalies. I just showed an anomaly. You found a big rock out there that found to be hollow. It's actually hollow. And I'm starting to wonder now how many of them are hollow. So I'm going to be peeking around at that in future shows, looking for hollow rocks. Other than that, all was good. Our fire broke, but we got it fixed because you can't break a fire. Yeah, and we're just yeah. Have you got anything to bring to the table tonight, Nase?
Well, I don't know if anybody noticed that fake eclipse we had this summer.
Oh,
Fake eclipse. Because by all the observations that I make, blind or not, never ever have I witnessed an eclipse happening on the new moon, because allegedly the moon is occulted by the shadow of the earth. So how could an eclipse occur on a new moon unless they're finally getting their blue beam project in order and they were able to put enough satellites or drones to get in a specific pattern and block out the sun?
Haven't we got a second moon at the moment?
Well, that in
You're
itself
talking about a solar eclipse or eclipse?
I think Donnie's referring to the clickbait when they said a second moon, because an asteroid allegedly is going to be so close that it might be captured through our, for argumental sake, gravitational pull, and it's going to actually change the direction of the asteroid. But it's fairly big that we'll see it by the naked eye. Well, I won't see it, but by the naked eye, you could see it. And so they're making it clickbaity by saying a second moon.
Yeah, well, that's what I got. There's going to be a second moon. What's wrong with the old one?
Unless, of course, Polly has been caught in the streets of Canada running around buck naked, showing us the second moon.
Well, they towed the
You'll
first
never
one in.
catch me.
I wonder if they tow it away and tow a new one in, or we'll have two. Actually,
No one's ever going to catch me.
No one's going to catch them. When I was a kid, I looked up in the sky and I felt there was something missing. Because in my memory as a child, when I looked in the sky, there were 3 heavenly bodies, not 2. So, and then here there's 2. I don't know where that come from, but that's what I used to think when I was a kid. Oh, there's something missing from the sky. And maybe I come from another planet. Another planet. But yeah, you're right about that, Nace. I didn't observe it really well, but I did notice that there was something weird about it. Yeah, and the blue beam and the comets and that they're saying coming in. When we were talking about that earlier, I actually wondered, is it real, or are they just testing their pictures in the sky and trying to make us think things are happening? Maybe it was a comet. Is that correct, Polly? Asteroid, comet. Which one was it that was coming? American comet. Are they real, or are they fooling us?
I think all of us are old enough.
To be honest, I'm not. I'm assuming it's an asteroid.
I think we're all old enough to remember when Hale Bop came around in 96?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I think it was 96 that Hale Bop.
I remember Halley's Comet.
Yeah.
Oh, was that Halley's Comet, or was it? Oh no, Hale Bop. That was what the Heaven's Gate.
Halley's Comet was way in the early 80s. Hale Bop was in the 90s. Yeah, I remember both of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another interesting, that new Webb telescope went online, that imaging telescope, and supposedly they captured a cube. I don't know if anybody heard that one.
Yep, I heard about that, Nace, because person I've been talking to in the last week has pictures of that and informed me that when you see things in the sky, behind all the energy that you see is actually a shape. And we spoke about the square ones, and he had pictures of them square ones, cube ones. And you know what come to mind straight away was the Borg. Does everyone know what the Borg is? You know the Borg?
Yeah, from Star Trek.
Yep. And I thought, oh, they're real. And is that why they want neuro implants and all that? They're trying to Borgify us. We are the Borg. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated.
Actually, in the new series Picard, the Borg comes back.
I haven't watched it.
Not a bad series. I always was a nerd about Star Trek. I'm still a William Shatner, Captain Kirk, more than Jean-Luc Picard.
And as far as we know, there's pyramid-shaped ones as well. So we've got cube-shaped ones and pyramid-shaped ones. So sounds like opposing forces, perhaps. And there's plenty of shapes, but I'm interested in the cube shapes and the pyramid-shaped ones. We're in shape wars. I'm a cube. Remember that song? I don't know if you remember. I used to sing it to the kids. I'd come out and go, do, do, do. I'm a shape. Do, 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 do. I'm a circle. I'm a triangle. I'm a square. Sorry. That's what had mummy brain. So what do you think about cube-shaped ships and pyramid-shaped ships? You reckon they're different mobs? Do you think they're from the same?
I don't think either of those shapes are good for making ships of anything. They're horrible for that. I don't know why anybody would make a cube-shaped ship, or say that 10 times fast. And I don't know why anybody would make a triangle. It doesn't seem to serve any purpose other than visual, aesthetics, basically. I don't see how a cube would make it function better, or you know what I mean? Like, it seems kind of just weird. Like, wouldn't you just make it the most efficient shape possible for what you needed to do? And as far as anything in nature on this planet goes, the cube is not that. Neither is a triangle.
I was going to say something funny then, but it'll blow the conversation. But I'm going to say it anyway. Did you know that wombats are the only animal in the world that poops cubes? No, I hate to tell you that.
Can you repeat that one more time? A wombat is the only marsupial.
Yep, that poops cubes.
Oh, that must be painful.
They can't figure out how it happens because obviously its insides are normal, looking like every other animal, but it poops cubes. So there's something about cubes. I was thinking though, Polly, if you get I haven't got a cube in front of me, have I? Yeah. I have a triangle. But I haven't got a square. I belong to the triangle mob, obviously. All right, so if you had a square, I've got the square on the bottom, and you put the square on the corner and spin it around, it would travel through space-time, perhaps. As for the triangle one, I don't know, it looks like it could only go up unless you put it this way and spun it around, but then it'd be upside down. But maybe they are. We don't know. That's technology we don't have privy on at the moment. We don't know about it at the moment. But I know the square can be put like this and spun around and travel that way, perhaps. But like you said, it depends what they want it for. Is it long distance travel, short distance travel, energy travel? we don't understand that kind of technology. So, yeah. I don't know. What do you fellas think? I'm doing all the talking here.
Well, what do you think about, Mecca? And I don't know if
It
you've
also
ever
matters
seen
what you're
that
traveling
from
through, I guess.
above. They show when people are doing the spiral around it. That's a big black cube.
Yeah,
And
that comes.
it's one of the holiest, I think it is the holiest spot for the Islamic world. And allegedly within that cube is a meteorite.
Yeah, I heard that. A rock. Why would they cover it with a cube, though?
Well, to me, it makes me think of the Platonic solids. Where you have, the first one, of course, is a sphere, and then you have a four-sided triangle pyramid, not a five-sided like the tip of the obelisk or the pyramid. And then from there you go from the square. Then you get the what is the five? It has like a pentagon side, but it has so many sides that are pentagons. Dang it, I used to know all these Platonic solids. But if we look at the representation of the square trapping a circle, so if you think of the old clocks, a clock is a square with a round circle in the center of it. A record, remember you used to buy records? It was a circle inside a square. CDs, it was a circle inside a square case. Even the old floppy disk, if you remember, were circles inside a square. And I think this is a symbology or iconography of man being the square and woman being the circle, and how the whole masculine over the feminine, or the patriarchal over the matriarchal. But of course, I have too much time on my hands too.
Don't talk all at once, everybody.
Just digging there, because they reckon the pyramids is actually the shape of the Earth or something similar to that by its measurements. And it's a triangle, but the base of it's square.
Have you ever seen the Richard Hoagland had a good documentary? It's called Anomalies of Mars, and they talk about the face on Mars. But if you go east of the face of Mars, you find this whole complex, the Cydonia complex, and you'll see visible structures that are of all different shapes, like pyramidal, but with multi sides. I mean, it's like, forget the face on Mars, look at the whole Cydonia complex. I'm sure you could probably pull up an image of that.
You there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm here. Oh, pressing buttons I shouldn't be. Look out. Oh, no. Wait a minute. There's something about squares. Oh, I don't know. You bump into the corner. I like circles because there's no corners to get cornered in. If you know what I mean. Oh, hang on. I got a thing for this. Look, we're just thinking. That's for the silent minute. Wait a second. We're just thinking. what would people think actually if a cube ship arrived in the sky? Most people are used to circular ones, long ones, little round ball bearing things, not cubes and triangles. I have seen lots of pyramid shaped ones, but I haven't seen the square ones yet. I have in pictures, but not for real.
You forgot about the Tic Tac.
Oh yeah, the rice shaped ones. Yeah, they're shaped like little pieces of rice. But they're actually the pyramid shaped ones. They look like a piece of rice from a long way away because of the shape coming out of the bottom, the energy coming out of the bottom. We're going to talk about that next week. We're going to get right into, I'm hoping everything works out well. We're going to get right into UFOs and anomalies, and have some pictures lined up for you in order, hopefully. Not. So, yeah.
Well, if I recall that one movie, Stargate, with Christian's, no, what was his name? I can't remember his name. Kurt Russell and some other guy, I can't remember his name. But weren't the extraterrestrial individuals, didn't they have pyramid craft? Then they would like land them on top of the pyramid.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was the rocks or stone pyramid sat inside of it when it landed.
Yeah, that's interesting because I've looked at all these little pyramid structures all over the world, even the Mexican ones, the stepped ones, and I've looked at them and thought, wow, they're really high to get up to. And in my mind, I just thought, oh, well, automatically the ship would land on top of them, and then you get out and go down the stairs because the ships are so big, they can't land them on the ground. They have to land them on the pyramid-shaped structures. I've always thought that.
Yeah.
Gee, Polly, when I said that, your dream came to mind. It's not a big rock, it's actually a ship, but your mind was telling you it's a rock. That's what I thought. But, it was landing, because it was landing. It's a ship, it's a ship. It's not a plane, it's a ship. It's a plane, it's Polly. Where are we at? 1.5 hours. We've got half an hour left, people. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Have I got anything else I want to show you? Let's have a look.
So, what you're saying, Luna,
Yep.
is the pyramids are cargo cults. Is that the right word?
In a way, yeah. So what I'm saying, the structures we have left behind, yeah, they used them in another civilization now, and yeah, everything come from it. You know, the pyramid after that, it was called the pyramid, kinda.
Yeah, well, you can see a lot of that cargo culture all over the world.
They were all over the world.
Yeah. I think that's the right name for it, cargo cult.
Yeah, what's left over once a civilization's been here, higher tech than us. Yep.
Yeah, it's like them mounds. I think it's either in Scotland or Ireland. They remind me of flying saucers. The way they're designed.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Actually, I've looked at a lot of things like that, like the dress, the outfits that the native people wear. I saw one mob, and they had weird looking outfits, but then when I looked at it, they were trying to do like a space suit, with tubes and stuff coming out of it. Yeah, that's cargo cult.
Yeah, it's like in Papua New Guinea there. I'm pretty sure it's in Papua New Guinea where they have this headrest, and the more you look at it, it looks like a helmet of a spacesuit.
Yep. Yeah, helmet of the spacesuit. Actually, you know, bro, you know the I forget what they're called. You know the paintings that we're not allowed to redo of the what are they called? The Wana spirit, something like that.
One Gina.
Yeah, the Wanjinas. Yeah. When you look
Wangina.
at when you look at the Wanjinas, they look like they got a suit on.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I had a good look at them. I can't show them to anyone because we're not supposed to show them. And the thing with the Wanjina painting, they're very large, and they said, this is how the story goes, we weren't allowed to paint what they look like. They painted themselves in the way that they wanted us to see them, and we're not allowed to replicate even that original picture. The law around that is so strict. But when we look at the pictures, it looks like they're wearing some sort of suit.
Viro suits.
Yeah, something like that. And they're very plain. They haven't got all the little gadgets on them like you'd see in other cultures where they've replicated the suit looking thing in some of their art and that. It's very plain. But what got me is that they wouldn't let us paint a picture of them. So I'm wondering, do they really look like that? We know that they've got some sort of kind of suit on, and we know that they're from somewhere else, and there was a whole family of them. And I always wonder what they really look like, because that's the only picture of them that we have.
Yeah.
Wanjina spirits. Very interesting. It was the material that got me, because I'm looking at their clothes thinking we either wore furs or feathers, right? Yeah, and that's not that same. It actually looks like some kind of material. But yeah, that was just me.
I find it interesting in the parallel with the Islamic faith. You're not supposed to draw or make images of Muhammad. It's like, why?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember the first time I learned about it, allegedly on The Simpsons or on Family Guy or something, they were threatening to do a characteristic of Muhammad. And then apparently in the Islamic world, they threatened that if they did such a thing, that they would do a, what's it called? When all of a sudden they're against you. I can't. I'm trying to.
I don't know. List all the words that mean against you: mutiny, conspiracy.
Well, there's like the imam. Not the imam. The head dude. Imam is of a church, but the head of the Islamic religion. He can say, "Okay, Bob has blasphemed or whatever," and now we put a fatwa. It's called the fatwa. And so that means if you're an Islamic individual, that you're supposed to kill that individual that they put a fatwa against.
Grubbs reckons Muhammad was a red-haired man. That's why he's only ever been presented with a head of fire. I didn't know nothing about this. The Muslim religion, that is new to me. I've spoke to a few ladies over the last few years about their religion, but it's only a little. So if you're not allowed to draw Muhammad, what does he really look like then? Does he look like what he's saying, naysay, or does he look something different?
So when back in the early 90s, when I first started getting sick, I wasn't really into any one religion whatsoever. I believed in like God, but I had no religious affiliation, even though I was raised Lutheran. So when I got sick, I started researching it, but I only just kind of touched the surface of all these different religions. But when I moved up to the little town I live in now, my neighbors were Muslims, and 9/11 happened, and then all of a sudden the whole world was against Muslim extremists. And it broke my heart because, these guys are just decent kids going to college and everything. And I asked them, I'm like, do you guys recommend an English version of the Quran? Because I'd like to read it. And they're like, you want to read the Quran? And I'm like, well, yeah, because I don't believe it's a religion of hate like everybody's squawking about. And so they got me a copy of the Quran. And I never found, I found plenty of examples of where you defend yourself and your people, but that's not, that's not pushing hate or anything like that. It's defending yourself, which makes perfect sense to me, but that's the challenge with the Abrahamic religions. They all came from the same place, yet they all fight amongst each other that theirs is better.
Yeah, I know. Actually, that's what I find with religion itself. Every religion I've come across have all told me that theirs is the one, and you can only get there by going this. So I'm not religious. I don't really like religion because of that exact same thing. It's like all us going, our seat at the square table is the best seat. Do you want to sit here? You can't do this unless you're sitting in this seat. And it's like, come on, man, I'll go and get my own seat and I'll sit at the same table. Thank you.
That's the nice thing about having a wheelchair, because I always bring a chair. And it's usually the best seat in the house.
Watch out for the corner. It's sharp. It's got a point.
Yeah, the four corners of the earth.
Yep. I wonder what's
the earth is round. Why would they have four corners of the earth?
That's a good point. Anybody want to answer that question? All right, I'm just going to flash up. Hang on. Where are we? Ding, ding, ding. You can't see this, Naysay, but it's a picture. Oh, I've lost it. It's a picture of a praying mantis with his arms up in the air. Anyone in the chat room, anyone on the show, please, someone come up with a meme for this and I'll put it in so we can all have looks at it. So I know you can't see it, Naysay, but if you can imagine a praying mantis with his arms up in the air, like he just got off on one of those monkey handlebar bikes, and his wings are all fluffed out at the back.
So underneath it, you should write, "Hoop, there it is. Hoop, there it is." All the praying mantis in the room, put your hands up. All the insects in the room, put your hands up. All the freaks in the room, put your hands up.
That's funny, and you can't even see it. That's funny. All right.
I remember before I lost my sight, I saw this video where a praying mantis was able to snatch a hummingbird. that was whipping by. And it
Wow.
was, right? And I don't know if anybody remembers the old black and white horror movie about the giant praying mantis. I can't remember what it was called, though. But it was a giant praying mantis.
I'll tell you something funny. Hey, Donnie, did you know they made a movie about 7-foot rabid kangaroo that goes around killing people?
Yeah, I see the talks, but yeah, it's funny.
Guess what they called it?
What's it called?
Rippy.
What?
Rippy. Instead of Skippy, Rippy.
Oh, yeah, Rippy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pathetic. I mean, I can't wait to see it to have a good laugh.
Well, you heard about that one movie in the States called Cocaine Bear?
Oh, I haven't watched it.
So it's probably a little bit, in a sense about possibly, I don't know. But there also used to be an old scary movie called Prophecy. And it was a Native American kind of ideology where from all of this mercury, digging out the mercury and everything, it polluted the rivers and it caused this giant grizzly bear to be mutated. And it took its vengeance out, but it was called Prophecy. The storyline was really good. Those old special effects, you laugh at them now, but
Yeah,
I remember when I was a kid and I'd just be like, oh my God, how'd they do that?
that's scary in the day. Polly, you having technical problems there, my brother? Probably can't hear us properly. We're not speaking English properly.
Polly, can you hear me? Polly, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Polly?
Polly's having a few problems there, that's all right. I had problems at the beginning of the show. The whole thing just dropped out. I had to reconnect and everything.
You might have a
It's pretty windy here too. You can probably hear the chimes in the background.
You might have flew away in his biplane.
I thought you were accidentally waving your wand and it was just turning everything into animated pots and pans and dancing. Yeah.
It's cleaning itself up, yeah. As a kid, I used to love that. I used to wish that. Oh, I wish the bloody dishes and that would do themselves, and I wouldn't have to do them because that was part of my job.
Remember Mary Poppins? She did that with the kids' bedroom. Pip, pop. What was the word she said?
I don't know what was it? I can't remember. I remember A Spoonful of Sugar is the only song that comes to my mind. Spoonful of sugar floats the medicine go down. The medicine go down. The medicine go down. Just you got me started now. Music time.
That's why when I do my heroin, I make sure to do a tablespoon of sugar prior. Joke. That was a bad joke. Sorry. It's not heroin. It's called OxyContin, which the VA got me addicted to. Allegedly.
Yeah.
So I was talking to you the other day, Miss Luna, and I brought up, I heard on the realm that there's a lot of sightings in the south side of Australia and a whole bunch in New Zealand. Now, is New Zealand closer to Antarctica than Australia?
Yes.
Yes. You take Tasmania, it's sort of slightly below Tasmania. New Zealand is. So it's definitely closer to Antarctica than we are.
And you know, I've been watching the shape of New Zealand since I was a kid, and the maps they put out. And the shapes change, man. I'm telling you, it's not the shape they're telling. It's bigger, because all of a sudden it looked like it was smaller, and it's like really bigger than when we were kids. And now it's smaller. I think it's a bit bigger than what they're saying, and it's closer. And if you're looking at a map of the world, so if you're looking at a map of Australia, Tasmania on the bottom right-hand side, and off to the right is New Zealand, and it's on an angle. And to the right of New Zealand, back up a little bit north, there's actually what they reckon there's an opening in the ice there, and then New Zealand is the closest to it.
Well, with Antarctica being brought up, the one thing that I've been finding out is that, you know, with all of these brand new computers that are using different modes of storing data, that it takes a lot in order to keep these computers cold. So if you need to keep computers cold, I can't think of a better place to have them than in Antarctica.
Mm.
And that would make sense why all the world has a treaty with Antarctica if they're all having their own little database down there that they have on all of their citizens. So to keep the, you know, if we think about it, if they can take us and turn us into a bunch of zeros and ones and have a program devised based upon each one of us, then in the event of the proverbial fan getting hit, if they had a big, huge facility in Antarctica keeping all of our data, and could they not, in this new technical advanced realm, regrow us all? Could that have been the ark, you know, Noah's ark? That it was just some kind of vessel that had all the DNA of all the creatures on the planet, because you would need a male and a female. Then you just put it in your petri dish, and next thing you know, you get these strange chimeras, you know, like the duck-billed platypus.
Oh, thanks. Leave me platypus alone.
I love the duck-billed platypus.
Yeah, I always saw that.
Hey, wait a minute.
Hey, Polly. Yeah.
Is my mic working now?
Yeah, it is. Could you hear us before?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's very robot-y sometimes, though. So I was just gonna ask, why isn't the duck called the platypus-billed duck?
Yeah, the other way around.
I think it was like.
And what I did also want to mention that the new way of computation isn't going to involve cooling as much as we need to involve it now. That's a problem that's being solved, and it doesn't need to be cooled with the Antarctic. I think there's something else going on down there. It's got nothing to do with computers, and the Antarctic won't be where it is right now because the Earth's equator is going to actually not be where it is right now. So whatever you're going to put in Antarctica, be prepared for it to get a lot warmer there in the next 100 years, maybe less.
There's a book out there. It's called Path of the Poles, and I can't remember the author's name, but they talk about how they would
Probably ended in ski.
but they would take core samples and they would look at the sedimentary layers. And within those sedimentary layers would be rocks that would hold a magnetic charge. And they would test these and find out at different times in history, they could tell the magnetic poles shifted. And they're like, okay, is it the actual poles, magnetic poles that shifted? Or was it actually the continents and the whole flat spheroidal globe or whatever the hell it is?
I think they both shifted, and that the magnetic poles are shifting right now. They're already moving. They've moved quite a bit in the last, I think, 15 years. They've moved more than they have in the last probably 100. They're moving. The magnetic ones, that is. Not the physical ones. The magnetic ones.
So is that why Mother Nature's favorite song is "I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it."
Mother Nature told me to tell you that if you ever accuse her of having that as her favorite song again, yeah, she's gonna make it rain. Okay.
Well, I'll be the first one to admit that Mother Earth has some beautiful mountains.
My question, magnetic poles. So we get affected by the magnetic force of the sun. Our magnetic poles change. And doesn't common sense say that if the magnetic poles change, that the heat and the cold is going to change, and that obviously it's going to melt and somewhere else is going to go cold? Is that not correct?
Well, you're absolutely correct. And that's an information that they rarely ever share about how at Antarctica, that one side of it is melting. But strangely enough, the opposite side is freezing. So as one side is melting and disappearing, the other side is freezing and building up. But if they can say, "Oh, it's melting, the ice caps are melting," then that sounds more scary than, "Oh, there's like a balance that's happening and Mother Earth figures it out." But that doesn't scare anybody to present carbon taxing.
And the other thing, if we had an ice age and we're coming out of it, isn't it natural for things to be still warming up because we're leaving the ice age?
Well, I'm even questioning the ice age in North America, especially because if we believe the narrative of the ice age, then that diminishes my ancestors being here that long, where there's plenty of evidence that contradicts the ice age. So if there was an ice age, how did all of these antiquities happen underneath the ice?
Maybe they happened before the ice age.
Well, I mean that where the question is, because we do have stories about dog sleds and spending days to get across giant sheets of ice. So it makes me think. There was that one movie.
And did you have like giant dogs back then too? That would be great.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like moose-sized dogs pulling sleds across. Yeah.
Well, you've heard of the giant beaver? So apparently, like 70,000 years ago, there was a beaver that was over 6 feet tall. Imagine a
Yeah,
beaver.
like 700 pounds of
Yeah.
beaver.
Yeah, we had giant kangaroos, wombats. They were like that. Grub in the chat room, he said something I agree with. I've always said that down here we have minimal effect. Whatever happens up where you fellas are, we get the minimal effect here. And he said New South Wales East Coast has plants so ancient, I find it hard to believe anything really ever changes here. We even have the Wollemi pines, which are still here. And I think last week on the show I mentioned, I was talking to someone, we've got ferns here that are from them really old times when there were big animals. And there's a section not far from where I live. When you drive through it, the whole area is protected because it's got the Wollemi pines, it's got all kinds of things, man, that were from the old days when everything was giant. And I've searched and correct me if I'm wrong, Donnie, but I've searched our stories and I couldn't find anything of freezing or a flood. I only found that it rained a lot here and that we used to be more rainforesty. That's all I found.
Yeah, well, there's a possibility there was a big giant wet season back then. My people up around here said there was a lot of snow back then, but I'm up in the high country. And so we did like had a mini ice age, not in a big scale on the northern hemisphere, but on a smaller scale.
Our colder parts were a bit colder, yeah, because up at the Blue Mountains they made a ski snow resort back in the 1920s, I think, or 1900s, and the snow started to diminish, and now they just made it like a giant restaurant hotel because there is no snow hardly at all now. But yeah, our cold areas like the Snowy Mountains and all the mountains were colder, and now they're a bit warmer. But that just tells me we were rainforesty, which was warmer, then it cooled down a bit, and now we're still warming up.
Do you know why Australia no longer
And
has
what if ice
ice
ages
cubes?
didn't last that long?
Sorry. Yeah, ice ages. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you can go ahead and answer, Polly. We stepped on each other. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Polly asked
I'm
about.
just asking,
sorry.
like, what if ice ages didn't last that long? What if they only lasted like maybe 50 or 100 years?
Or
I
just
don't
an
know, like
unusually long
how do
winter?
they know how long an ice age lasted? Like, yeah, exactly. What is an ice age then?
Well,
Like the ice age I imagine is the ice age where 2 miles of ice is on top of North America.
Well, that's what they reckon before the Younger Dryas. That was 2 miles of ice, especially in Canada.
Yeah,
you mean Canada?
that's where they found the 700-pound beaver.
Yeah.
I think I dated her once.
Another sad.
That big smile of Polly's, I can just see it. And he has that little giggle laugh of his. Yeah, it's really interesting when you look historically and they talk about, the Pleistocene era.
Yeah, Pleistocene.
Where we had all these like saber-toothed tigers and woolly mammoths, and then so I don't know if you guys have heard of Devil's Tower.
Yep.
It was one of the most sacred sites in North America. It was considered like neutral territory. And when they first came and rediscovered it, on top, they found giant bison skulls. And we're talking about where the horns were probably like almost 20 feet in width. And the skull itself was like 4 feet by like 7 feet. And they were orientated with not exactly our magnetic poles, but they claim it was orientated to what the magnetic poles used to be so many thousands of years ago.
Mm. Isn't that where they made the movie Fourth Kind?
Third kind.
Well,
Yeah. Well, interesting. Another interesting fact in the movie Close Encounter of the Third Kind.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, they figured out that tone. You know, remember the do 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 do. Well, they figured that was like mathematics, and then when they decoded it, they showed on the screen a number, and one of the guys like, "What's that?" He's like, "Well, if we put it into the mapping system, it shows Devil's Tower, Wyoming. However, if you take that number and you put it into Google, it showed you the site of where the Denver airport was to be built. Not it was built already, because that movie came out before the Denver airport was under construction. But the location of Devil's Tower was the location of in the movie. And interesting enough, Denver's airport is one of the world's airport. That's what it's called, a world airport. And really interesting if people have done that deep dive. You know, there's many sub levels of the Denver airport. Their hangar complex has Faradayed shields. So in the event of an electromagnetic pulse, their planes and whatnot would more likely survive such a thing.
Carrington event.
Yeah. Uh-oh, there's Donnie getting the biscuits.
Nah, getting into me baggie.
I hope you don't have your camera on.
No, he doesn't.
It did that to...
Oh.
I don't think anyone wanted to see me smoke like a chimney.
Actually, with the fire, there's no smoke coming out of that fire. Yeah, when we got silence, I'm going to put this up from now on. Wait a second, we're just thinking. Well, people, we've got to the 2-hour mark, and we've actually managed to get here. And even though we only had 4 people at our square table, but that's okay.
So you're still doing it? You're still doing it live on YouTube?
Yeah, we're live on YouTube. Yep.
Nice. Can you give a shout out so I can hear some familiar names if there's anyone out there?
And I'll just spin back to the front. So where are we? We got King Sweet. We got Connie. We got Des. We got, if I miss your name, we got Polly. Who are you in the chat room, Polly? Jules. All right, we're coming down. I'm not very good at driving chat rooms. Oh, we got Ken Rotman. No, Kenneth Carey. Yeah, Ken Rotman. G'day, Rotman. Sorry, I didn't notice that. I was too busy talking. Rusty Shackelford. G'day, girl. How you doing? Who else we got? Des already said that. I'll just keep saying Des. It's easy to say. Yeah, we got Grub, I said that, and we have Tim. They've been a bit chatty today. Yeah, that's all I can see.
What a delight in my darkness to hear the names, the memories.
And Malia, g'day Malia, how you going, sister? I didn't see you there. Everyone's
Yeah,
having
Maria.
tech trouble.
I hope everybody has been successful in finding giggles abundantly and hopefully sharing them. I apologize. I have not been around. I've been caught up in Twitter spaces. I mean, Twitter. I keep calling it Twitter. Twitter's, well, X. Oh my God. We should discuss about X at sometimes, how prevalent it is now. Everywhere you look, X, X. But yeah, I've been going in, and I even
It marks the spot.
Right? I even convinced an incredible individual to go on Twitter Spaces. That was an incredible victory in my book.
I'm trying to type. I was trying to type in the chat room, and YouTube rejected my comment. So okay, it's not in there. But Grub, your last comment, yes, I've tried that. Where was I? Sorry, I'm having a battle with YouTube. Tried to kick me off earlier. For some reason, they don't like me all of a sudden. Well, like I said, we're at the 2-hour mark. Hopefully, we'll be back next week. Oh, the reason we were kind of late today was daylight saving, people. Australia just went into daylight saving and it mucked me up completely. What about you, Donnie? Did you even realise that we slipped into daylight saving overnight? Obviously not. He's still an hour behind.
You can go ahead and blame me for it, Luna. It was all my fault.
Okay, that's good. That's the easy way you just blame someone. Yeah, so
Did it save the day?
Did it save the day? Hopefully next week my timing will be better, and we'll see how we go. So before we go, I'll go down the line. Is there anything else you want to say, Naysay, before we leave these good people?
Let's see. No, I can't see. So let's ponder. I think, feel, and believe that it reminds me how much I miss you all and how bad of a friend I've been for not keeping in touch. And so please, I'm sorry, pity and forgive me. I will attempt to reach out more frequently, maybe jump on the Discord and say hello or spend some time there, because I do love all of you and you have always let me bask in your brilliance and illumination. So thank you for the invite, my sister.
That's
I
all right.
appreciate it.
Thank you. We love you. And Donnie, my brother, you got anything to say before we leave and come back next week, April?
Oh, I just wanted to say something as Naysay. It's good to hear from you anyway, brother. I haven't heard from you for a while. Yeah, I hope you jump on him more often now. And good luck in your endeavours. You still there, Naysay?
Absolutely, my friend, and I will try to make a note of it to be around more frequently. And
Yeah.
and I think we have each other on Skype, Donnie, if I remember correctly. But
I
if you
think
ever,
I'm 100% sure, but I have a look, see, eh?
but don't hesitate to reach out at any time if you need me. Any
Yeah,
of
no,
you.
I did that. Oh, there was something else I was going to tell you too. I was watching this documentary. There's a cartoon version of this documentary talking about the golf sickness. And I thought that was really unusual. The first thing that came in my head was you.
Cartoon version, that's different.
Yeah, it was a cartoon version talking about the golf sickness.
Wow. That's cool. I might try to find that.
Yeah, the latest thing pertaining to Gulf War illness is I found an old contact sheet that I had of all these veterans that I used to frequently discuss because they were going through the same thing.
Yeah.
None of them responded. It was maybe about 30 plus names and emails. And my fear is that, it finally took them, the illness. But yeah, that was a little heartbreaking there. But now they have that new, they call it burn pits. And I believe that this is another cover up for the anthrax inoculations that they were giving the vets in 2000, early 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought that was really unusual to put it in a cartoon. It's more like a documentary, but it was in a cartoon type style. Yeah.
I'll see if I can find that and we can put on the show if it wasn't too long. So, Polly, anything you want to say, my brother, before we land this ship and put it to rest for the day? Polly's landing the...
Yeah, I got my goggles on. We're gonna land this plane. Tune into Polynation on the freeworld.fm and the Independent Broadcast Network if you're so inclined to hear some music you probably never heard before. And I just love doing this show. The Sirius Frequencies is, I mean, even though I've missed the last couple, it's something that I look forward to every week because it's where we can hang out and just chill and shoot the shit. I love it. Nase, long time no hear. Good to have you back. Good to hear your voice. And anytime you want to come on the show, I'd be more than happy. Same with you, Donnie. Always good to have you here. I really appreciate your perspectives, and you've made me think about a lot of stuff today too, especially that I'm gonna have to stew on for a bit. But when we come back next week, yeah, it'll be a clean slate, and who knows what we're gonna talk about. But thanks for listening, everybody, and everybody in the chat room. All the people that have always been in the chat room. You guys are awesome, and keep coming back and tell more people if you think they'll like it, because I don't see us stopping anytime soon. So yeah, cheers, everybody.
Cool. And yep, I'm gonna have a good week until we see you next time. Stay centered, stay strong. Love to you on this day, and Creator loves you. Just hang in there, everyone. The ride will soon be over. Please stay seated and keep your seatbelt on until Polly is fully landed the plane, you guys. And we'll see you next week. We'll rock it out. And hopefully we'll have a nice guest for next week. And we'll rock it out for this. So yaloo, everyone. Take care. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.
Toodles.
Oh.
See ya.
We're going. landing. Maybe we get something to eat on the next ride, Paul.
This is your captain speaking. You're free to roam about the cabin. Thank you for flying Australian Airlines. Please come again, and may you have a wonderful day.
Is there a pilot on the plane?
I forgot to get him to come.
I think the autopilot's been engaged, but it needs a little topping off.
Yeah, I didn't take it up. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye. Hungry.
There's a little nozzle. You'll find a little blow tube right below the belt.
And the mask will drop from the ceiling. Bye.